You're watching The Natural. Now it's your turn to take a swing. Join host John Burke in the live online bidding action on AMC's Live Big Bid Movie.
You know, I have to tell you that this is AMC's first ever big bid movie, and we picked a good one, didn't we? Oh, it's just so beautifully photographed. By the way, that was Joe Don Baker as the Whammer, and if you recognize him, he, of course, was in Walking Tall. He was Buford Pusser. Now, the character that he plays here might have seemed familiar because he was based on baseball legend Babe Ruth. Obvious, you could tell that right away. And speaking of the Babe, we have a baseball signed by Babe Ruth, along with his teammate Lou Gehrig and a couple of other Hall of Fame legends. And this ball is up for auction right now, live, online, at amctv.com. You could own this baseball. All you have to do is go to our website. Well, with me now is memorabilia specialist Elise Marks. Elise, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in tonight.
Hi, John. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Tell me more about what we have here.
Well, not only is this signed by the great Bambino and Lou Gehrig, two of the best players ever, but you have two other great signatures. You have Joe McCarthy, who was a manager in the 30s and the 40s for the Yankees, and you have Rabbit Marinville.
Rabbit Marinville. Now, who is this?
It's a very hard signature to get. He was a shortstop. He played in the teens and the 20s. He was actually a good player, but he's best known for hanging out with Babe Ruth. They were old drinking buddies.
And that's probably how he got to sign the ball.
It's definitely how he got to sign the ball, but a very valuable ball. I mean, these signatures are just great legends.
Very, very fascinating. What else do we have here?
Well, these three balls are all from the 2001 World Series Yankees. This is a team ball. It's signed on the sweet spot by Joe Torre. Historically, Yankee team balls always go up in value. They do really, really well. It's a great collectible to have. And historically, the Yankees are really the best team in baseball. So this is just a great ball to have in your collection.
Now, are you saying that because you're a fan of the Yankees, or is that a legitimate comment there?
Well, it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely a legitimate comment. I mean, there's no other franchise in the world that's better than the Yankees have been to these, the last 20, 30, 40 years.
That's right. That's right. What else do we have?
Well, here we have probably, again, one of the best pitching staff balls. I mean, you've got Clemens on the sweet spot, who just won his 6th Cy Young this year and is definitely going to the Hall of Fame. We have El Duque, we have Rivera, we have Pettit, and we have Mussina.
What a pitching staff.
What a pitching staff and what a ball. I mean, again, you'll never have this team together again. It's a great collectible.
I dare say that's one of the best pitching staffs in the history of the game.
I would definitely agree with you. And Clemens, I mean, he had some year this year. And here we have an infield ball. We have Derek Jeter on the sweet spot. We have Martinez, who knows what's happening to him after this year. We have Alfonso, and then we have Scotty Brocious, who just announced his retirement this year.
So they're not making too many of these.
Well, they're not making too many of these. You got to figure that Derek Jeter's probably going to the Hall of Fame also after he finishes. And, Scotty's not playing anymore. So, again, you'll never get these signatures.
Now, a couple of times you used the term the sweet spot. Tell me about that.
Well, the sweet spot was actually created by Babe Ruth. It's the cleanest spot on the ball. It's where the stitching comes together. And if you notice on the other side of the ball, there's always a stamp telling you if it's a National League ball, an American League ball, who made it. So it's the cleanest spot on the ball. And always a collector says, who's on the sweet spot? They want to know who's got that big spot. And you'll see a lot of times, especially Babe Ruth, when he started it, he would sign his name really big so people could see it.
So Babe Ruth started that, the whole sweet spot thing.
That's it, the great Bambino.
See, that's what I love about memorabilia, first of all. I mean, it's great. It's really cool to have. Plus, you can learn all this stuff about it as well. Now, of course, tonight we have a lot of stuff going on. There are dozens of special baseball items that you can bid on while you're watching The Natural. Now, the competition for all these items is sure to be as fierce as, well, the World Series that the Yankees just played in. As a matter of fact, we already have a couple of hundred people already logged on and registered to bid on these items. So don't miss out. Go to amctv.com and put your bids in right now. Now, while you're registering and checking out all the great baseball memorabilia that you can bid on, we're going to get back to The Natural, but make sure you bid now because I believe the World Series baseball already has a bid of well over $1,000. So right now, we're going to go back to The Natural. And what's about to happen to Roy Hobbs really happened to a major leaguer back in 1949. I don't know if you knew this. And when we come back, we'll tell you about the true life adventures of Eddie Waitkus. And get online and put your bids in. Back to The Natural.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live big bid movie. The Natural will be right back, but first, here's host John Burke with updates on the live online bidding action on AMC's live big bid movie.
That's a graceful movie, don't you think? The Natural is based on the first novel by Pulitzer Prize winner Bernard Malamud, written in 1952. Now, Malamud's story of Roy Hobbs was based directly on what happened on June 14th, 1949, to Eddie Waitkus, an all-star first baseman of the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Waitkus was shot by a love-struck 19-year-old woman who had lured him to her Chicago hotel room, just like in the movie. But Waitkus didn't wait 16 years to come back. Check this out. The very next year, he led the Philadelphia Phillies into the World Series. I don't know if back then if they had comeback player of the year, but he certainly would have earned it. Now, if you're watching The Natural, you're either a movie fan or a baseball fan or both. In either event, we have some amazing memorabilia up for bid in AMC's first big bid auction that you have got to see. So make sure you go to amctv.com and place your bids. Now, since we're watching The Natural, it's only natural that lot number 1 in the online catalog is an autographed picture of the original Natural Mickey Mantle. As a matter of fact, it's here. So, Elise Marks, you are our resident specialist on all this. Tell us what we have.
Well, you have a signed Mickey Mantle photograph. The reason why I really like it is, number one, it's in color. I love how you see the number 7, you know, and he looks so austere. It's a great shot.
It's sort of a gothic pose, isn't it?
Yeah, he looks great. You know, he reminds me of Roy Hobbs in the movie. He was an Oklahoma farm boy. His father taught him how to play baseball, and he could hit farther than anybody else. One time he hit a home run at 565 feet.
That's amazing. That's a record, as a matter of fact.
Only Mickey.
Only Mickey.
And
what else?
Lot number 6 here, we have a Mickey Mantle signed baseball. And then lot number 12, we have a Mickey Mantle photograph, and he's actually with Joe DiMaggio.
Now, is that rare?
It is rare. It's from 1951. It's the only year the two of them played together. If you look at it, you can see how young Mickey looks. And a lot of people say that the two of them didn't get along, but what we really think is that it was Mickey's rookie year. So he was probably shy, and Joe was older and a little bit aloof, so there probably was not a lot of animosity towards each other, but to have both of them on a photograph is extremely rare and really collectible.
Yeah, I would guess if you're a rookie and you're working with Joe DiMaggio, you're probably going to be kind of quiet, you know, so I could see where a lot of people would make that mistake. Now, this is AMC, so of course we also have some great movie memorabilia. An original poster from The Natural, and signed pictures of Robert Redford, and might I add that lot number 19, which is a signed picture of Robert Redford, right now is getting some strong action. Also Glenn Close and Kim Basinger. Now, to get in on the auction action, log on to amctv.com. Now, in the meantime, you'll be seeing Roy Hobbs get his chance to finally play in the big leagues and to reunite with his long-lost love, played by Glenn Close.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live big bid movie. You're watching The Natural. Now it's your turn to take a swing. Join host John Burke in the live online bidding action on AMC's live big bid movie.
He knocked the cover off the ball. He knocked the cover off the ball. Hey, have you got the hang of this bidding thing yet? You must, because things are really heating up on our website right now. The bidding is frantic. And our next item should really generate a lot of interest. It's a check. So tell us what we have here.
This is lot number 20. It's a personal check of Ty Cobb. It's signed Tyrus Cobb in green ink. It actually has his name, Tyrus Cobb, and you can see it's from Nevada, which is where he retired. It's from 1953, so he was quite up there in age. It's endorsed on the back, Francis Cobb, which is a family member. This is probably one of my favorite lots in the sale.
I agree. Tell me why.
Well, it's not a manufactured piece of memorabilia. It's really a personal piece of his own. You know, you don't really think about owning something from your personal collection, but this was personally his check. It has his signature on it. He didn't sit down and sign 1 million baseballs or photographs or things like that. Not that they're not collectible, but this is really unique and rare. And I just think it's really special.
I agree. It's like a snapshot into that day of his life. Yeah. Right there. There he was, right in a check like the rest of us. Well, if you want this check, all you got to do is point and click your way to amctv.com and put your bids in. And don't forget, we are expecting a very special guest very soon. What the heck, I'll tell you. Al Leiter, pitcher for the Mets, is going to be stopping by a little bit later on. Now, in the meantime, you're about to see one of Roy Hobbs' teammates have a close encounter with an outfield wall. And when you see it, you might think, you know, that could never happen. Oh, but it did. And I'll tell you more about that when we come back from The Natural.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live big bid movie. The Natural will be right back, but first, here's host John Burke with updates on the live online bidding action on AMC's live big bid movie.
Boy, I tell you, Robert Duvall, have you ever seen anything but brilliance from him? He's just a perfect actor. You know, you've probably seen a clip of that guy crashing through the outfield fence trying to track down a fly ball. Well, you know what? That happened. That happened to a guy named Rodney McRae. He was in the minors. Now, in case you've never seen the clip that I'm talking about, Rodney crashed right through the wooden outfield fence, just like in the movie. But unlike poor Bump Bailey, Rodney survived his incident. Now, here to tell us about our next item, and it's a good one, is sports memorabilia specialist Simeon Littman. He's from Mastro Fine Sports Auction. Simeon, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in, sir.
Pleasure to be here, John.
Now, tell me about this item. The more I look at it, the more I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's actually an image taken moments after one of the most infamous home runs in history. It was July 1983, and the Royals were playing the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It was the top of the 9th inning, 2 out, and the Yankees were ahead 4-3. George Brett, one of the fiercest competitors in baseball history and now a Hall of Famer, comes to the plate and in Hobbs-like fashion hits a 2-run home run to give the Royals the lead. Everything's great. Then Billy Martin, the Yankee manager, runs out and starts arguing with the umpire. What's going on? Nobody knows. The umpire asks for Brett's bat. He looks at it and then suddenly calls Brett out. What's going on? Well, what happened was Billy Martin started arguing that there was too much pine tar on Brett's bat. Now, pine tar is the sticky substance that ballplayers use to grip the bat better. Apparently, there was just a couple inches too much on the bat. And what happened was the Yankees won the game. Brett was called out. And the Royals went nuts and appealed to the league president, who then overturned the decision. 3 weeks later, they played the end of the game. And actually, the Royals won thanks to Brett's home run.
So here is the moment where George Brett is flipping his lid, and this is signed by him as well.
Absolutely. He's flipping his lid. He totally went berserk. And it's one of the most unforgettable moments in baseball history. Now, the kicker is Billy Martin knew about the bat weeks before the incident and just waited for the right moment to really stick it to Brett and the Royals.
Well, currently, the high bid on this already is $220. And I'm sure there are a lot of fans out there who would love to own a piece of this really bizarre incident, because it was bizarre. It was unforgettable. Now, don't forget, we also have some memorabilia from tonight's movie. For instance, lot number 7 is a rare original poster for The Natural, which earned 4 Oscar nominations. Now, you'll see the scene depicted in the poster, Robert Redford as Roy Hobbs tossing a ball in a golden field near the end of the movie. Now, if you're just tuning in, we are live here at AMC's Big Bid Auction, and you can get in on the action right now by pointing your web browser to amctv.com and placing your bids on dozens of unique baseball and movie memorabilia. Now, in the meantime, watch as love comes to Roy Hobbs in the form of glamorous Kim Basinger. Ah, the plot thickens.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live Big Bid movie. You're watching The Natural. Now it's your turn to take a swing. Join host John Burke in the live online bidding action on AMC's live Big Bid movie.
It's about this point in the movie I really start getting the chills about every 3 seconds. Hey, did you notice that the 3 stars are all blondes? When do you ever see that, really? Redford, Basinger, and Glenn Close. You never see that in a movie. Now, we have a baseball representing New York from the 1950s. So you want to tell us about that?
Well, this is actually a It Ain't Over Till It's Over ball, signed by none other than Yogi Berra.
Now, Yogi Berra, a colorful guy. I mean, everybody knows him for the things that he would say.
Yeah, they say he's quite the clown. He had all these yogiisms. So on this ball, you have It Ain't Over Till It's Over. But, you know, he was a really good player. He had 3 MVPs. He played in the most most World Series games than any other major league player. So he was a very big player.
When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
That's a yogiism.
Hey, listen, we have an update on the Mickey Mantle baseball. Do you have any idea how that's doing right now?
I have no idea.
Currently $1,200.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that's some good stuff. Now, you can start bidding on this baseball or any of the really hot artifacts available, such as those Yankee World Series baseballs or the Babe Ruth baseball at amctv.com's Big Bid Auction. And we're going to be right back to tell you about some of our other hot Big Bid movie auction items, so stay with us.
When our nation's in crisis, we turn to elite teams like the CIA.
This American officer was sweating bullets.
But who does the CIA turn to?
Where else would you go?
Hollywood. Now, for the first time, in an exclusive AMC original, the CIA comes clean on its secret partner.
We hold these people's lives in our hands.
From Vietnam to Iran to our new war on terrorism, AMC reveals the inner workings of this undercover partnership.
What happened was bigger than any filmmaker's imagination.
Into the Shadows, the CIA in Hollywood, premieres Tuesday at 10 10 Eastern, only on AMC.
It was so outrageous, it had to be true.
Sure doesn't taste this good in New York.
You up here on vacation?
Nope. Lunch.
Introducing the 260 horsepower Acura TL Type S.
Wish your wife would wrap up your shopping. And you just wish you were out of here. Guys, I think I can help you out. At $8.99, a Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor is the perfect gift for anyone. Call or go online today and get a free CD burner or an all-in-one print center.
Dude, I'm getting a Dell. Honey?
Holiday values made easy. Easy as Dell.
Stay tuned. There's more action to come, on air and online on AMC's live Big Bid Movie.
Reading to the kids at the library is the highlight of Fred's week. But some days, his COPD keeps him from being there. Chronic bronchitis or emphysema associated with COPD can keep you from doing simple things.
But now taking Ceravent helps me take fuller breaths.
Nothing can reverse COPD, but taking Ceravent twice a day can help improve your lung function around the clock. One call is all it takes to find out more about managing your COPD. Call 1-800-704-4698 right now to get 10 tips for taking fuller breaths and a $10 rebate. Ceravent should not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms or be taken more than twice a day. Some people may experience increased blood pressure, heart rate, or changes in heart rhythm. Ceravent is a prescription medicine and may not be right for everyone. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure, or take MAOIs or tricyclic antidepressants. Ask your doctor if Ceravent is right for you.
And start taking fuller breaths.
Call now for your free tips and rebate offer.
Tonight on AMC, it's AMC Effects with host Stan Winston. First, don't blink or you'll miss how special effects artists use breakthrough camera tricks on Cinema Secrets, Snapshot. Then, on the AMC Effects feature, The Pods Are Coming, and you're next as Kevin McCarthy stars in Don Siegel's sci-fi classic, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And lock the doors and stay out of the shower. Anthony Perkins slashes his way through Alfred Hitchcock's legendary shocker, Psycho. That's all tonight on AMC. Great movies and the stories behind them.
This is AMC's Big Bid Auction. We are live and we're auctioning off dozens of baseball and movie memorabilia at our online auction site, amctv.com. And our special guest, ace New York Mets pitcher Al Leiter, is expected at any moment, here, live, in the studio. He's going to join us. But before he gets here, and before we get back to Robert Redford in The Natural, let me tell you about the signed pictures of the stars of this film that you can bid on. Now, this is lot number 19. It is a signed picture of Robert Redford dressed as Roy Hobbs in his New York Knights uniform. Now, this item is actually a bit of a rarity because Redford pretty much avoided fans and autographs during the making of The Natural. It was filmed in Buffalo, New York, and Redford lived alone in a house rather than with the rest of the cast and crew. He signed no autographs. After he finished his scenes, he just ducked into his trailer, ignoring all the pleas from the fans on the set. Redford said he just wanted to maintain his concentration and didn't want to be distracted by the crowds. And that's why this picture is so rare. Lot number 24 is an autographed picture of Kim Basinger. She plays Memo Paris in The Natural. Now, at first, director Barry Levinson wasn't sure that she was right for the part. He also wanted to avoid having the three blondes that we talked about, Basinger, Redford, and Close, as his leads. Now, the production had been underway for 2 weeks before Levinson finally made up his mind to cast Basinger. Good choice, Barry. Now, this was only Basinger's second big movie part and really launched her dramatic acting career. Now, in 1997, of course, she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her work in L.A. Confidential. And this is lot number 16. Take a look, an autographed picture of Glenn Close. Now, Close got an Oscar nomination for her part as Iris Gaines in this movie, The Natural. In fact, between 1982 and 1988, Close was nominated for 4 more Oscars. Remember her in Fatal Attraction? You can't forget her, can you? While you're considering your bids on these pictures, don't forget about the other unusual and unique items up for bid on AMC's Big Bid Movie Auction. Elise Marks, our memorabilia specialist, is holding a baseball signed by Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and their friends. Now, we've also got a picture autographed by Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio, and we've got a baseball signed by future Hall of Famer Mark McGwire. And we also have a baseball signed by the 2001 American League champion New York Yankees. And we have a check made out by the great Ty Cobb. Just go to AMCTV.com and register for the auction for your chance to what could be priceless baseball artifacts. They could be yours. Now, as we return to the natural, Roy Hobbs rediscovers his batting eye after getting a one-woman standing ovation from his long-lost love, played by Glenn Close.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live Big Bid movie. The Natural will be right back, but first, here's host John Burke with updates on the live online bidding action on AMC's live Big Bid movie.
I'm convinced that in the history of baseball, there is only one pitcher that could ever have struck out Roy Hobbs. His name's Al Leiter. And I'm not saying that because he's right over there, and he's going to be visiting us in just a little bit. Now, if for some reason you've hung back on bidding, we've got 3 more items to tempt you. And they all have something to do with the late, great Joltin' Joe DiMaggio. First, we have the king and queen of 50s glamour, Joe with his wife, Marilyn Monroe. So what do you want to tell us about this photo? Because it's interesting what happened a month after this photo, Elise.
Well, it's taken in Idlewood, the Idlewood Airport, which turned into JFK, and it's Marilyn and Joe together. They were married at the time. Very rare to find a press photograph, and rare to find anything of the 2 of them together.
A month after this was taken, what happened?
She left him.
She left him. They got divorced.
They did. Apparently Joe was angry during the filming of the film when her dress went up, and he didn't really want her to be an actress. He wanted her to be a wife, and she said, I want to be an actress. So memorabilia from the 2 of them really sells really well because they were married for a short time. As a matter of fact, her wedding ring given to her from Joe DiMaggio sold for over $800,000 at the Marilyn Monroe auction.
That's right. Not many of these pictures. You don't see those 2 together too much.
Very rare, great for collection.
Absolutely. All right, what else do we have?
We have a single fine photograph of just Joe D up at bat swinging. You know, it's a classic. It's great. If you don't really want to spend a lot of money, this is a great piece for your collection. And
I want to tell the folks, by the way, that one's about to close. If you want to buy that one, you don't have much time left on that particular item. What else do we have?
We have a great photograph of Joe DiMaggio with Ted Williams. Now, you had Ruth retiring and you had Gehrig retiring in the 30s, so they really captivated the whole 40s. And they both had 2 great records in 1941. Joe for 56 games hitting,
right.
And we had and then Ted Williams hit 406, which is the last player to hit over 400. So President Bush, who's a huge baseball fan, just honored them for the 60th year anniversary.
Boy, you talk about classics. Those guys define the word. Now, let me be clear about this. We are about to close the first 5 lots. So if you're interested in buying those, the only chance that you get will be in the next part of the movie. The next time you see me, those 5 items will be gone. So get your finger on the button.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live Big Bid movie. You're watching The Natural. Now it's your turn to take a swing. Join host John Burke in the live online bidding action on AMC's live Big Bid movie.
Oh no, not the dreaded photos. The dreaded past always comes back. Going to give you some updates now. Lot number 1, the Joe DiMaggio photo. Remember that? Well, that sold for $1,400 to a lucky bidder in Elk Grove Village in Illinois. Get this, lot number 2, the DiMaggio signed photo, went for $1,300. And lot number 3, that was the 2001 Yankee team baseball, sold for $2,200. Lot number 4, the Yankee pitching staff baseball, sold for $1,300 to Burlington, North Carolina. And lot number 5, the Yankee infielders ball, sold for $650 to Yank Fan 21 in Selden, New York. Now, as Roy battles for his health and integrity, let's look at some more recent baseball memorabilia. Now, we told you about a personal check signed by Ty Cobb that's up for bid. Now, the next item is somewhat related to Ty Cobb. Is that right,
That's
Elise?
correct.
What is it?
It's a signed color photograph by Pete Rose, who broke Ty Cobb's record for hits.
Now, tell me a little bit more about this baseball. It's signed right there. It's not on the sweet spot.
It's not on the sweet spot. Very good, John. I'm most impressed. It's a Derek Jeter signed ball underneath the World Series, and it's 1998, which was a season that the Yankees had 125 successful games, including the postseason. And he's quite the heartthrob, so, you don't have to be a baseball fan to want this.
What else do we have right now? Anything else at the moment?
I think we have some special things coming up in the next segment, but this is really a great piece.
All right. Well, something that the folks at home should know is that we're going to be closing lots 6 through 10. So You got to be on the ball here. You can put your bids in for these special baseballs and all the other items in AMC's Big Bid Movie Auction. 6 through 10 will be gone when we come back. Now, when we come back, we're going to let you know who some of the big bidders were.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live Big Bid Movie. The Natural will be right back, but first, here's host John Burke with updates on the live online bidding action on AMC's live Big Bid Movie.
I know I've said it 1,000 times tonight. Man, that's a good movie. Right now, it is time to meet our special guest of the evening. Number 22, Mets pitching ace, Al Leiter, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Al, nice seeing you. Thanks for stopping in.
And I'm glad you're a Met fan.
I certainly am a Met fan.
I go to all this Yankee memorabilia stuff. I know it sells, but it's good to know that you're a Met fan.
Well, you started out as a Yankee.
I did. A long time ago. Seems like another lifetime ago.
And I guess your first professional game would have been in Yankee Stadium. What was that like?
The most nerve-wracking of any game. I've been lucky enough to have been in a few World Series, and I pitched a no-hitter, and everybody asks what is my most fondest memory, and I still think it's my opening first game, Yankee Stadium, September of 1987. I still remember it. Just how scared and nervous and the whole shaking of the legs. And I was 3.5 years out of high school in New Jersey, and now Ron Guidry and Dave Winfield and Don Mattingly and all these guys that I watched were my teammates. And
that place does have an aura to it. Yankee Stadium is a special place. But let's talk about the Mets and what kind of team you guys going to have next year.
Well, hopefully we'll do a little better than we did last year. It was a little disappointing, especially after the year in which 2001 when we went to the World Series, lost to the Yankees.
Right.
But it was a good year, and we thought we were going to do a little better, and we didn't. And I think our general manager and the club realizes that we have to do a few things to tweak the ball club, and they're going to do it.
Now, this past year, you guys had a downswing pretty much in the middle of the season. It looked like you were down and out early, and then you made a run, and you really closed it up at the end, which says a lot to the heart and soul of the team, of which you play a big part. But what happened there? How'd you guys turn it around like that?
We started hitting. I think, everything's in baseball. People watching the show know baseball, it's pitching and defense, but you also need a little offense. And we turned it on, and offensively we started scoring some more runs. And there's a certain energy. When teams start to win, it's definitely a feeling of momentum and confidence, and we were getting that. And we easily could have turned around and had a miserable year. But end of July, we were last place in the East behind the Expos and the Marlins, and we ended up making a run at the end.
I tell you, folks, this guy is really the heart and soul of the Mets. When you watch him pitch, the guy is gritty, and you can tell he loves the game, and he's an honor to the game. It's good to have you here. Before you go, can I get you to sign something? Maybe we can put it on their website?
I'd be glad.
All right. So we have a Mets jersey, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this one's for you, and if you would sign this, we would be much obliged. You can put to my best friend, John Burke. If you want to.
Okay, well, you got to bid for it.
Do I? I wish I could. I wish I could buy some of this stuff.
I wish I had that ticket that you had when you were watching Henry Aaron hit the 715.
I saw Hank Aaron break the record.
How can you be a Met fan if you grew up in Atlanta?
I'm converted. When the Mets, are
I'll buy it.
not playing the Braves, I'm rooting for them. Thanks for stopping in, Al. Sure, it's good to have you here now. In the meantime, let me recap some of the action that's going on our website. Let's start with lot number 6. It's the Mickey Mantle baseball, and that sold for $1,500 in Forest Park, Illinois. Lot number 7 was the Natural poster, and that sold for $600 to Napa Joe in Napa, California. Lot number 8 was the George Brett Pine Tar photo, and that sold to Northville, Michigan for $650. Lot number 9, the baseball signed by those legendary New York players, sold for $3,000 to Edgartown, Massachusetts. And I need to tell you that they're still bidding on lot number 10, which is the Mark McGuire baseball. So we don't quite have that number yet because they're still bidding. That one is fast and furious. So once again, Al, thanks very much for stopping by. And stay around because we're going to watch the end of The Natural, and we're going to see if Roy Hobbs can come through for the Knights. You know he's got to in their big game.
Now back to The Natural, AMC's live Big Bid Movie.
Gets me every time. I have the same reaction every time I see that movie when he tells the little boy to pick out a good bat, and he does, and I just get all choked up. Hey, I got to give you some updates on what's been happening on our website. Incredible action. Check this out. Lot number 13 sold for $2,000 to Movie Gym in Massachusetts. Now, that's nothing. Lot number 15 was the Babe Ruth ball. That sold to Judy from Nashville. You ready for this? $10,000. Lot number 16 was the Glenn Close photo, and that sold for $300 to California. Lot number 17 on our website was the Derek Jeter baseball, and that sold for $900. Now, lot number 18 was the Ted Williams Joe DiMaggio photo. That sold for $2,200 to Wichita, Kansas. Lot number 19 was the Robert Redford photo. You ready for this? That sold for $1,800. Is that incredible or what? It gets better. Lot number 20 was the Ty Cobb check, and that sold for $1,600 to New Jersey. Now, lot number 21 was the Pete Rose picture, and that sold for $700 to California. His bidding was spirited, I told you. Lot number 22, Monroe and DiMaggio photo. That sold for $650 to California. Lot number 23 was the Cal Ripken baseball, and that sold for $2,400. Incredible. Now, I know that there's a few items that have not closed yet. You should know this, that you can still buy them. They're on the website, AMCTV.com. So even though we have now come to the end of our show tonight and we're about to close off here, you can still go to our website and you can still buy the items that haven't closed yet. Make sure you know that. Now, we've come to the end of our first big bid movie, and we'd like to congratulate the winning bidders, and we hope that everybody has had a good time. I've had a blast. Our thanks, of course, to Al Leiter of the New York Mets, Elise Marks, and Simeon Lippman for helping us with the memorabilia. And even if you didn't take part in the bidding, we want to thank you for tuning in and watching The Natural. For AMC, I'm John Burr.
The proceeding was brought to you by Acura. Cars are our passion. Engineering is our art.
Lisa?
Tom?
Nice to meet you. I got a little held up at work.
Where's that?
LA.
Introducing the 260 horsepower Acura TL Type S.
Tonight on AMC, it's AMC Effects with host Stan Winston. First, don't blink or you'll miss how special effects artists use breakthrough camera tricks on Cinema Secrets Snapshot. Then, on the AMC Effects feature, The Pods Are Coming, and you're next as Kevin McCarthy stars in Don Siegel's sci-fi classic, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And lock the doors and stay out of the shower. Anthony Perkins slashes his way through Alfred Hitchcock's legendary shocker, Psycho. That's all tonight on AMC. Great movies and the stories behind them. When our nation's in crisis, we turn to elite teams like the CIA.
This American officer was sweating bullets.
But who does the CIA turn to?
Where else would you go?
Hollywood. Now, for the first time in an exclusive AMC original, the CIA comes clean on its secret partner.
We hold these people's lives in our hands.
From Vietnam to Iran to our new war on terrorism, AMC reveals the inner workings of this undercover partnership.
What happened was bigger than any filmmaker's imagination.
Into the Shadows, the CIA in Hollywood. Premieres Tuesday at 10 Eastern, only on AMC.
It was so outrageous it had to be true.
Movies love to poke fun at the world, and sometimes even mimic themselves. And when they do, nothing's sacred in Hollywood. Watch Spoofed on AMC and see Hitchcock horror and historical movies. Like you've never seen them before. Spoofed, Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Spoofed, will you cut it out? Brought to you by Celebrex. Talk to your doctor about Celebrex. What do you get when you mix Steve McQueen's ego, Warren Beatty's scheduling conflict, and Paul Newman's cloud?
Boy, I got vision and the rest of the world wears bifocals.
Robert Redford.
Don't tell me how to rob a bank. I know how to rob a bank.
Thanks to Hollywood's business as usual, one of the greatest themes in movie history was kept from being just that, history.
Well, that ought to do it.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, part of AMC's Superstar Sunday.
Think you used enough dynamite there, Butch?
This AMC shortcut is being brought to you by the following.
Mom, Dad, we're pretty close, right? Guess what? I'm 2 seconds away from kicking you out of my life. You don't even recognize me. And pretty soon, someone's gonna try to get me to take drugs. Wanna do something about it? You're gonna have to make me tell you where I am and who I'm with. Every day. No matter how much I fight you. Don't like it? Tough. You gotta be the grown-up.
Today there are many kinds of special effects used in films. There are visual effects like computer animation, and there's mechanical and explosive special effects, which are staged right in front of the camera.
So we already did
These are known as physical effects. We create them just as you see them on film. With explosions and crashes, there's really no second chance. It's got to work right the first time. We should place the can in the bed, about a quarter of the way in, and we'll have it on like a 6-degree angle. When I design a special effect, I'm always looking to make it really exciting. I like to get more element around the action so that we create an illusion of danger. Setting up a special effects shot can be very time-consuming. It needs very careful attention and coordination with many different departments so that we're all ready to go on time when needed. Well, originally, we were going to just place a gasoline bomb inside the vehicle and blow it up. But that wasn't very exciting, so we decided to enhance it a little. So what I like to do is remove the floor panels and the bed panel so that when the gas bomb explodes, it goes up, left, right, forward, back, underneath, and it kind of envelopes the car. The reason why we have all this extra metal is to reinforce this cannon. This cannon is going to hold a telephone pole, which comes out with such velocity that it can lift the back of this up about 20, 25 feet in the air. We're going to put this little wire up there to hold in the telephone pole. Well, we're going to put an explosive charge in here that's going to have enough force to blow the door off. And we have one on that side so the doors will blow off and kind of give it a little more animation. And we also have the same type of devices for the front hood. The engine hood is going to fly off. We try to strive for longevity and not just have like one little explosion and it's gone. We try to have like a multitude of bang, bang, bang over maybe a 2-second period. To make it safer and make it more spectacular, to get a bigger bang for your buck. So everyone within 200 feet should wear helmets and earplugs. We have to work on schedule and on budget, but safety is always our main concern. Doing special effects is like being on the front lines of a production. When the special effects shot works as planned, it's very exciting and satisfying.
Next, it's AMC FX, where the best of Hollywood effects come at you from both sides. Behind the screen with the AMC original series, Cinema Secrets, and on the screen with the AMC FX Movie of the Week. That's coming up next.
The following is brought to you by Walt Disney Resorts. There's never been a better time to make the dream come true.
You know who that is? What about the man? That's Walt Disney, the guy who came up with Mickey Mouse. He dreamed up this whole place. He could take an ordinary day, turn it into magic. He was full of fun ideas.
Oh, kind of like you, Grandpa.
Come share the magic at our year-long celebration of Walt Disney's 100th birthday.
We share a dream come true.
Call 1-407-WDisney.
Hi, I'm Stan Winston, your host for AMC EFX. Tonight we bring you a behind-the-scenes look at my area of expertise, special effects. The techniques used to bring effects to the big screen will amaze and delight you. We can't give away all the tricks of the trade, but we'll share a few with you next on AMC's Cinema Secrets.
Movies love to poke fun at the world, and sometimes even mimic themselves. And when they do, nothing's sacred in Hollywood. Watch Spoofed on AMC and see Hitchcock horror and historical movies. Like you've never seen them before. Spoofed, Saturday starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Spoofed. Will you cut it out? Brought to you by Celebrex. Talk to your doctor about Celebrex.
I want to spend some time with you and the children.
Are you crazy?
The Tenenbaums have always been geniuses, but it will take a father like Royal.
I want this family to love me.
To make them a family.
You probably don't even know my middle name.
That's a trick question. You don't have one.
Helen.
Gene Hackman, Angelica Houston, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Stiller, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, Danny Glover, and Bill Murray. The Royal Tenenbaums.
He also stole bonds out of my safety deposit box when I was 14.
Rated R. Opens December 14th in New York and L.A.
The new Dremel cordless rotary tool with 9.6 volts of power and over 150 available accessories. It's so versatile, you just can't live without it.
You know who that is? What about